Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. The coronavirus pandemic has shed light on some of the inequalities that exist within our society. The evidence shows that those who've been worst affected by the virus are generally those who had worse health outcomes before the pandemic, including people from less affluent communities like Stoke-on-Trent Central. Government advisor and Professor of Immunology, Professor Altman, was very clear in his remarks to the all-party parliamentary group on coronavirus that while there is relatively little consensus in the clinical world regarding the causes and treatment of long COVID, there is a shared understanding amongst medical professionals that long COVID can affect anyone and everyone in society, including those who are young, fit and healthy. However, we know that the body's ability to recover is better if a person's general health is strong. So it is vital that we do everything we can to reduce health inequalities so that constituencies like Stoke-on-Trent Central are not disproportionately affected by the consequences of coronavirus and the impacts of long COVID. Tackling obesity must be placed at the very top of our political agenda. We know that people who are obese are far more likely to become seriously ill and to go into intensive care if they contract the virus. I believe food labelling needs to be reformed so that we can have an emphasis placed on promoting healthy foods, not simply junk food that is bad for you but meets food safety standards. The current bewildering myriad of statutory food labelling requirements from 9 different agencies does not make it easy for the consumer. We know the benefits of clean air and exercise for our physical and mental health. A recent report in The Lancet highlights a very real problem. Reduced movement behaviours amongst children and young adults caused by COVID-19 restrictions, if not adequately addressed, will have serious ramifications for long-term health outcomes. So I welcome the recent proposal in the Centre for Social Justice report to extend the school day for years 7 to 11 by 2 hours for sport and physical activities. One of the many symptoms reported by people suffering from long COVID is something similar to a brain fog. This causes a lack of mental clarity, an inability to focus and poor concentration levels, and it was very eloquently described by the Honourable Member for Denton and Redditch. I know that the government is absolutely committed to investing in mental health services, including, in my constituency, a record £15 million to fund acute and community mental health services. Many people suffering from the brain fog find respite by taking in fresh air and light exercise in green spaces and good air quality. And so I am particularly keen to see more access in my constituency to the River Trent and to support environmental health projects. To conclude, there is one thing that we have learned from this pandemic, and it must be that the health of our nation is a collective responsibility and impacts each and every one of us. From our economy to our environment and the health of our communities, it is absolutely integral that we look after each other and our communities for our nation's long-term recovery and our ability to build back stronger.